Hello lovely viewers, welcome back to my channel Mabbie Health. I bring you greetings from everybody in my crew. Thank you also so much for following me up till this time, and I would like you to continue to follow me. Please subscribe if you haven't, like and share my videos. If you have any comments on any of the videos you've done so far, please put it in the comment section and we'll be here to answer every one of your questions. So we'll continue with our hypertension series. In the first part of the hypertension series, we spoke about what hypertension is, being increased pressure in your blood vessels. We spoke about the causes, and we said that hypertension, the main cause is unknown, but it depends on the type of hypertension that you are experiencing that will tell you the cause of it. We spoke about atherosclerosis. We spoke about the essential or primary and then secondary hypertension. And then we said that with the primary hypertension, the onset is gradual and the cause is really unknown. And the secondary hypertension, we said that it comes in a very short time, and it depends on the underlying conditions that you have. Okay, so we also spoke about the categories of hypertension, which is the normal BP, the elevated BP, hypertension stage 1, stage 2, and hypertensive crisis. So we spoke about the categories of hypertension, where we mentioned the normal, which is 120/80, and then we said that some people have theirs slightly lower or higher than 120/80. We spoke about the elevated hypertension, which is 120 to 129. That's for the systolic, and then 80 for the diastolic. We spoke about hypertension stage 1. We spoke about stage 2 and hypertensive crisis, where the BPs is above 180/100 and the person goes into hypertensive crisis, where a lot of signs and symptoms comes into play. We spoke of vomiting, nausea and vomiting. We spoke of palpitations. We spoke of epistasis, where there's bleeding in the nose. We spoke of a lot of things. So please go back to part 1 of the series and you get the detail of everything that we spoke about. So let's dive into today's discussion. I want to share with us the normal blood pressure by age. So every age has a blood pressure that should be normal to that age. Remember, we spoke about the standard or the norm, which is 120/80, but your age can increase it or lower it. Okay, so for women between ages 18 to 39, your blood pressure is normal when it is 110/68 millimeters per mercury between 18 to 39 years, and for the male, one is 119/70 millimeters per mercury. Usually with the male, everything is slightly higher than the female. Yes, so that's how come the male's blood pressure should be slightly higher than the females. So between ages 40 to 59, you can have a blood pressure of 122/74 millimeters per mercury for the women, and it's very normal. And then with the men, 124/77 millimeters per mercury. From 60 years plus, 139/68 for the women is very normal. It's very normal. And then with the male, 133/69 millimeters per mercury. Note that pregnancy lowers your blood pressure. I said this in a previous video. Pregnancy lowers it. So if it is lower than 110/68 between the ages of 18 to 39 years for the women. So with the 60 plus for women, 130 over 68 milliliters per mercury is very normal. And with a male, 133 over 69 millimeters per mercury is also normal for the males. So we mentioned earlier that elevated hypertension is between 120 to 129 for the systolic and then 80 for the diastolic. But then if you are 60 plus and you are recording 130 over 80, it is fine. Yes, because with your age, your BP will slightly increase as well. Yes, and let's note that with pregnancy, 130 pregnancy, it is not normal. Even if you are 90 years and you are recording 130 over 90 millimeters per mercury in pregnancy, it's considered to be hypertension and you need medical attention. BPs should be low in pregnancy. One will ask the things that predisposes you to hypertension, high blood pressure. Yeah, so let's talk about the risk factors. Number one is age. Yes, for the men we have 45 years and then the women 65 years. Somebody will say that is a cheat. Why should men be 45 and women be 65? You realize that with especially African men, of course I'm an African, so I can only talk about my race. With African men, they are trained to endure, and so if they are going through anything, no matter what it is, a true African man is going to endure even up to the end. But women, we are not like that. Charlie will come crying, ye besu and I kasa so bibi haya. Oh, ushia we are no kana me say, dia me kom wo mawarim, dia me kuma we dia yeme, dia me ba we dia yeme, me say madam fu we di yeme, you know. We will talk about it and we will get it off our chest. But the men are not like that. They will swallow and endure whatever pressure they are going through. And these things brings about a lot of sicknesses, including hypertension. And so with the men, when they get to 45 years, hypertension is already there. Especially if they go through things, stress, and they don't open up to talk about it. You also talk about genetics. Being black or black American predisposes you to hypertension. And with the white, the rate at which the black American or an African will get hypertensive is way higher than the white. And even the whites, by the time they get it, it will be, they would have advanced in age before they get it. But with the blacks, you don't need to advance in age. Yeah. We also talk about not being physically active. Every day you are sitting at one place. You sit in your car from home to the office. You get to the office, you sit in the chair right till your shift is over or till the day ends. You get, the only time you walk is when you are moving from your office into maybe the washroom or to go and eat cafeteria. Like, physical activity is not enough. You have to be physically active. You have to be walking more, swimming more, cycling more, you know, be physically active. Don't be like, you know, yes, that's just by the way. Okay, we talk about high sodium diets. There are some people that if they don't put a lot of salt in their food, they don't taste it. They're like, and chinini bibia a dead dear and no one chine. Tinchini any avianim almost to a point where a chimwa and yet. So they'll keep adding and adding and adding. Please, you are doing yourself no good. We are not saying that you shouldn't eat. Eat it, but in moderation. At least 5 grams per day is fine. So what happens with the salt is that it causes fluid retention. Let me use this as an example. You realize that when you put salt down at a point, let's say you put salt on the floor or on your kitchen cabinet, the next day it would have melted. It's not the salt that melts, but then salt has high affinity to water, and so it draws water to itself. You get it? And so you put salt down. By the time you go and come back, na insio enchene na ye insio, yes, enye enchene na enchene na ne, then it draws water to itself. It has high affinity for water. Note that. And so if salt is in your system and it's so much in your system, you can just imagine what is happening. It retains fluid. Good. So please, it's not something you should just joke about it. If your diet is high in sodium, high in salt, please decrease it. Okay. Yes. We also talk about a little potassium in your diet. Include it. Like the potassium in your diet helps to balance the sodium. So you can just imagine eating a lot of salt and potassium is just small. It's not going to balance it. Okay. We also talk of drinking too much alcohol. Sometimes the situation demands it. We understand you've lost a loved one and you're not able to contain the grief and all that. Some people, even before they eat, they would like to sip a little before they eat. Those things, it does not help. If you drink too much, please reduce it. For women, it is 1 glass a day. Ideally 1 glass a day for women and 2 glasses a day for the men. Don't go beyond it. It is not negotiable. No, because you are not doing any good to yourself. Please. These times are times that are really hard. Money is difficult to come by. You don't want to gather some few money to be used for something else, and then hypertension sets in. You have to go to the hospital and end up spending all your money. It is not wise. Yeah. We also talk of family history. If your family has any record of hypertension, maybe your grandmother, your father, your great grandmother, any of them have hypertension, it is highly possible and likely that you also get it. We talk of stress. Of course, when you go through stress, you know what it does to you. You end up eating anything and everything. It also predisposes you to hypertension. We talk of certain chronic conditions like the kidney problems, thyroid problems. We spoke about those things when we spoke about the secondary hypertension, the things that causes secondary hypertension. We said that underlying sickness causes that, and so we are mentioning it here again. So the last thing I'll talk about on the risk factors of hypertension is overweight. Being overweight or obese. The more you weigh, the more blood your body needs to supply oxygen and nutrients to the other parts of the body. And so if you weigh more, it means that the heart and your blood vessels have to work more, maybe 2 or 3 times than the normal. Yeah. So let's quickly delve into how you can calculate your BMI, which is a body mass index, so that when you are eating too much, and then you can decrease it. When you are drinking too much alcohol, you are doing things that will predispose you to all of these things we are talking about. You stop. If you are overweight and you are heading towards obesity too, you will know, and then you stop over there. So let's quickly talk about BMI. BMI, as I mentioned earlier, is body mass index, and it is your weight over your height. Yes. So let's quickly do this calculation. Let's say that I weigh 76 kg and then my height is 1.54. So it's going to be 76 kg over 1.54 square. Yeah. When you do all these calculations, you realize that the BMI will be 32 kilograms per meter square for the height, for the weight, and for the height. Yes. And it's obesity class 1. So if this is what I'm weighing like 76 kg, and then my height, you realize that I'm quite short. My height too is 1.54. It means that though I'm weighing 76, I'm obese, and it is class 1 obesity. I'm heading towards class 2. You get it? So your height should also guide you when you are doing certain things, most of the sedentary lifestyles. Yeah. So with a BMI and its indication, when you do your calculation of your BMI, which is the weight over height squared, and you get anything less 18 and less, 18.5 and less, it means that you are underweight. Yes. 18.5 to 24.9 is normal. So, and a BMI of 25 to 29.9 is overweight. A BMI of 30 to 34.9 is obesity class 1. Yes. 35 to 39.9 is obesity class 2. And 40 and above is extreme obesity. That one day, we don't know what we'll do with you. Like, you have reached. So all too soon, we've come to the end of today's episode. We'll meet on our next episode and continue with our hypertensive series. Until then, see you, and it's bye.